Back in Kansas tonight, a Wichita police officer using in-car computer when he hit and killed a man crossing the street.
A Highway Patrol report now obtained by FF12 giving more details into that February crash that killed 51-year-old Jeffrey Moss. FF investigator Brandon Stitt reviewed that report and shows you what it says.
That's right, Mike. Rachel, that trooper's report is clear, and there's several factors that contributed to this fatal crash. Now, according to that report, the officer driving a police SUV didn't see Jeffrey Moss in the street. He admitted that he was deleting emails on his in-car computer when the crash happened. That computer use confirmed by the officer's body-worn camera, according to the trooper. Now, 12 News reported in March that the officer never told the dispatcher that he'd hit a person or that Moss was critically hurt. He instead reported a man down. Now, other factors listed in the report include Moss's dark clothing and low light, also a high level of intoxication, and crossing the street outside of a crosswalk. In September, prosecutors declined to file charges against the officers, saying that they found insufficient evidence of criminal liability on part of the officer involved. WPD will now review the incident to determine if policies were violated. Now, you can find the full KHP report on this story on KWCH.com.